Rasmus Dahlin in a hurry to get to the net, and he scores! Over, Thompson loads it up, scores! Number 5 for Tage Thompson!
The Buffalo Sabres just ended the longest playoff drought in NHL history. For 14 years, Buffalo was the league's punching bag. Every star they drafted, gone. Every rebuild collapsed. Every February, the same story. And then 2 players looked at each other and made a promise. We're not leaving. We have to turn this around. They had that conversation 10, maybe 15 times. While Eichel left, while Reinhart left, while the whole league watched and waited for Dahlin and Thompson to ask out too. They didn't. And now, Rasmus Dahlin just drove a series-clinching assist in Game 6 against the Boston Bruins. Tage Thompson scored 2 goals and an assist in Game 1, and including a wraparound behind the net that started a third-period comeback nobody saw coming.
He plays in behind. Thompson takes it back. Scores! What time?
Buffalo is in the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2006. The rest of the Eastern Conference has a Rasmus Dahlin and Tage Thompson problem. And it starts right now. Chapter 1. What they just did to Boston. 6 games, 1 statement. The Bruins never saw it coming. Let's start right here, because what Dahlin and Thompson just did to the Boston Bruins in Round 1 deserves to be talked about properly. Buffalo won the series in 6 games. Atlantic Division champions with 109 points proving they belonged. And the 2 players at the center of it were exactly who you'd expect. And exactly who the rest of the league feared. Thompson finished with 7 points in 6 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, tied for the team lead.
Thompson comes away with it. Thompson scores!
And the moment that set the tone for the entire series came in Game 1. Sabres down 2-0, third period, Boston playing tight, protecting the lead. Thompson gets the puck behind the net. One move, wraps it around on his backhand, beats Jeremy Swayman clean. 3 minutes later, Thompson wins another puck battle, creates space, and rips a shot to tie it. Alex Touche with the primary assist, completing the line chemistry that terrorized Boston all series. Buffalo wins in overtime. Alex Lyon steady in net, the goaltender who carried them through their December surge. That was the series, right there, in 1/3 period. Dahlin was everywhere across 6 games, 4 points, a goal, and 3 assists, plus 3.
For Alex Tuck, Dahlin to drive! No, they say no goal! Rebound score!
21 shots on goal, 10 hits, 6 blocked shots, a power play goal in Game 5 that gave Buffalo the lead for good, 2 primary assists in the series clinching Game 6, setting up the opener and the empty netter that sent KeyBank Center into a frenzy. He averaged over 24 minutes of ice time per night against Boston's best lines. Every tough matchup, every critical situation, every moment where the Sabres needed their best player to be their best player. Dahlin was there. And here's the number that puts it all in context. Since December 9th of this season, Buffalo went 39-9-5, the best record in the entire NHL over that stretch, a point percentage of .816. That run didn't happen because of a hot goalie or a lucky schedule. It happened because Rasmus Dahlin and Tage Thompson decided this was the year. Chapter 2. The drought and the players who refused to let it win. 14 years. And 2 players who stayed. To understand what this means, you have to understand what Buffalo has been. 14 years without a playoff game. 5,111 days. The longest active drought in the NHL. Longer than every other franchise. Longer than any player on the current roster had been in the league. Players came in with promise and left without it. General managers were hired and fired. Coaches cycled through on yearly contracts until Lindy Ruff returned, the same coach who led their last playoff team in 2011. Jack Eichel asked out. Sam Reinhart moved on. Evander Kane, Ryan O'Reilly himself, traded to St. Louis, where he won the Cup and the Conn Smythe a year later. The list of players who gave Buffalo their best years and then left to win somewhere else. It's long enough that it stopped looking like coincidence. It started looking like gravity. And every season the drought got longer, that gravity got stronger. Because if you're a young star watching that history, the message is clear. You're not going to win here. Build your value. Ask out. That was the Buffalo Sabres. That was the trap. Dahlin and Thompson looked at it and chose differently. By Dahlin's own count, they had the conversation 10 or 15 times. This is the place. We're not leaving. We have to turn this around. Dahlin said it directly. There's a lot of people that have come in here and tried to change it, and then they leave. He stayed. Thompson stayed. And when the franchise finally built something worth staying for, they were still there to lead it. Chapter 3. Rasmus Dahlin, the defenseman. The league feared from Lidköping to the best blue liner in the East. Rasmus Dahlin was born on April 13, 2000 in Lidköping, Sweden. By 17 years old, he was already playing in the senior Swedish league.
Visar upp sin fina skridskoåkning och skapar den här möjligheten. Rasmus Dahlin gör 1-0!
And in February 2018, at 17, he played for Sweden at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. Most NHL prospects haven't played a single game against grown men at 17. Dahlin was at the Olympics. When the 2018 draft arrived, Buffalo won the lottery, and nobody, not one team, and not one analyst, debated who they should take. Rasmus Dahlin, first overall. The first Swedish player drafted first overall since Mats Sundin in 1989.
The Buffalo Sabres are proud to select Frölunda defenseman Rasmus Dahlin.
NHL Central Scouting used one name as his closest comparable. Victor Hedman, the Tampa Bay captain, the Conn Smythe winner, the Swedish defenseman who anchored 2 Stanley Cup championships and dictated the pace of every series he played in. That was Dahlin's projection at 17 years old, and he's getting there. In 2025 to 26, 19 goals, 55 assists, 74 points in 77 games. Career high, 6th among all NHL defensemen. Over 24 minutes of ice time per night. First power play unit. Toughest matchups. All situations. His 5-on-5 impact. Buffalo controlled roughly 53% of expected goals with him on the ice, outscoring opponents 75 to 53.
Up high, 15 seconds. It scores! Rasmus Dahlin! The captain buries it! We're tied with 13.6 seconds to go!
Chris Pronger and Elliot Friedman both named him their Norris Trophy frontrunner on Hockey Night in Canada. And Nicholas Lidstrom, Borkup's 7 Norris trophies, the gold standard for defensive excellence, said Dahlin was better at the same age than he himself was. Said he reminded him of Brian Leetch. Put it together, Hedman's all-situations dominance, Leetch's offensive game-breaking ability. That's what Buffalo has on the back end. At 26 years old, signed through 2032. Chapter 4. Tage Thompson, the throw-in who became the franchise, who traded as a piece, stayed to become the player. Now switched lenses, same summer, same city, completely different arrival. Tage Thompson wasn't coming to Buffalo as a savior, he was coming as a piece. July 1st, 2018, the Blues traded Thompson, Patrick Berglund, Vladimir Sobotka, and 2 draft picks to Buffalo for Ryan O'Reilly. 1 year later, O'Reilly won the Stanley Cup with St. Louis, won the Conn Smythe, became one of the great playoff stories of the modern era. And Thompson, 18 goals and 35 points in his first 145 NHL games.
Fitzgerald, Thompson's got Skinner in front. Thompson holds it, shoots, scores!
A season-ending shoulder injury in the final minute of his first game back from the AHL. A crash into the boards that ended everything before it started. He was, by every available measure, a throw-in. A 6'6" throw-in with a 90-mile-per-hour shot, but a throw-in nonetheless. And then something changed. December 7th, 2022, Columbus Blue Jackets. Thompson scores 5 goals, 4 of them in the first period alone. Only the 4th player in NHL history to score 5 in a game. The second American-born player ever.
They work it over. Thompson again to Skinner. To Thompson. 4 goals for Tage Thompson.
The first being Mark Pavelich, 39 years earlier. That performance came just months before he'd helped Team USA capture Olympic gold in Milan 2026. The same tournament where he proved he belonged among the world's elite. He went from 18 goals in his first 145 games to 47 in his 4th season, then 38, then 40 in 2025 to 26. 40 goals, 41 assists, 81 points in 81 games. So the first Sabre to reach 90 points in a season since Daniel Briere did it in 2006-07. The first to score 40 goals since Jeff Skinner hit that mark in 2018-19. Skinner, who's now watching Thompson eclipse everything he accomplished in Buffalo. Over the last 5 seasons, 188 goals, 8th in the entire NHL. He leads all forwards in 90-mile-per-hour shot attempts, 97th percentile in average shot speed.
Here's a turnover. Thompson in front, holds it, scores! Tage Thompson! Outstanding effort!
The closest historical comparison isn't another giant. It's Eric Lindros, the 6'4" power center who terrorized the NHL in the 90s. Thompson is an inch taller, and his shot is more refined. That's the player Buffalo gets to put on the ice next to Rasmus Dahlin every single night. Chapter 5. The year everything tried to break them. A heart transplant, a press box seat, and a 13-game losing streak. The 2025-26 season didn't start as a coronation. It started as a test. In the summer of 2025, reports emerged that Dahlin's fiancée Carolina had suffered major health complications while they were on vacation in France, requiring multiple medical interventions and ultimately a heart transplant procedure. Dahlin took a leave of absence in November to be with her in Sweden, and when he came back, the Sabres were sitting at the bottom of the conference. Same story, same gravity. Thompson, meanwhile, had been left off the American roster for the Four Nations face-off, despite his Olympic gold medal performance. He made the trip to Boston as an emergency replacement and watched the final from the press box as Team USA lost to Canada. Both of these players had every reason to check out. Neither of them did. On December 15th, 2025, the Sabres fired general manager Kevin Adams and hired Jarmo Kekalainen. The new GM walked into that locker room and said something that landed. "I believe in you guys. I believe in this group, but it's up to you. You are the ones that have to do the hard work every day." From December 9th onward, 39 wins, 9 losses, 5 overtime losses. The best record in the NHL. Pact had finally found its team. Chapter 6. The Briere-Campbell lineage. Buffalo has seen this before, and it ended too soon. Here's the part that hits different if you're a Sabres fan of a certain age. Buffalo has been here before. The mid-2000s Sabres were one of the best teams in the league. Daniel Briere was the offensive engine, undersized, fearless, all hard. Brian Campbell was the puck-moving defenseman. Elite skater, elite passer, the guy who turned defense into offense in 3 seconds. In Game 1 of the 2006 Eastern Conference quarterfinals against Philadelphia, Campbell delivered one of the most iconic open ice hits in Sabres history. In the same game, Briere scored the winner in double overtime. That was the duo. That was the era. The Sabres won the President's Trophy in 2006-07, back-to-back Eastern Conference finals, and then it slipped away. Briere left for Philadelphia. Campbell left for Chicago. The core scattered. The drought began. Dahlin and Thompson aren't just statistical heirs to Briere and Campbell. They're the first duo since that era who looked at the franchise's history of departures and chose to stay. That's the part nobody saw coming. Chapter 7. Why the rest of the East has a problem. Both in their prime. Both locked in. Both just getting started. Here's what makes this genuinely scary for every team left in these playoffs. Dahlin is 26 years old, signed through 2032. 8 years, $88 million, the largest cap hit in Sabres history, and already looking like a discount. Thompson is 28, signed through 2030, 7 years, $50 million, $7.1 million per year. One of the great bargains in the NHL. With Owen Power anchoring the second pairing at just 23, Buffalo's defensive core is locked in for years. Both players are right in the middle of their primes. Both locked into Buffalo for the foreseeable future. Both just proved they can translate regular season dominance into a playoff series win. Dahlin gives Buffalo a top-pairing matchup problem that doesn't go away. You can't forecheck him because he skates out of trouble. You can't sit back because he'll torch you from the point. You can't avoid him because he plays 25 minutes a night. Thompson gives them a center who's bigger than every defenseman trying to check him and shoots harder than every winger trying to score against them. Send your best defensive line at Thompson. Dahlin tears you apart from the back end. Focus on Dahlin's exits. Thompson cooks you in the offensive zone. There is no clean answer. That's the problem. Close. 14-0 to 15-0. The drought is over. The problem is just beginning. 14 years. A drought that swallowed careers, fired coaches, and broke fan bases. And the two players who finally killed it were the Swedish defenseman who was supposed to save the franchise, and the 6'6" throw-in nobody else wanted. Rasmus Dahlin and Tage Thompson didn't just end the drought. They proved that a pact between two players, repeated 10 or 15 times in private, can actually beat 14 years of franchise gravity. The NHL has a Rasmus Dahlin and Tage Thompson problem. And right now, in the spring of 2026, every team in the Eastern Conference is figuring out exactly what that means. So here's the question for the comments. Who's the more important player to the Sabres' future? Rasmus Dahlin or Tage Thompson? The Norris-caliber defenseman who can carry a series from the back end? Or the 6'6" sniper who scores when nobody else can? Drop your pick. Hit subscribe, because Buffalo isn't a punchline anymore. It's a problem.